This is Season 3, Episode 9 of my modular journey, and today we're going to take a look at the Doepfer A-124 VCF5 WASP. These all have some pretty lengthy names, don't they? The WASP filter came in a year ago, also in October of 2022. It cost me around $105, which is pretty darn inexpensive for a filter. According to the Doepfer website, the A-124 is a special 12 dB per octave multimode filter using the strange filter circuit of the EDP WASP, which was an analog synthesizer with a black and yellow case built at the end of the 1970s. The original WASP synth was created by Chris Huggett and Adrian Wagner and manufactured by the UK company Electronic Dream Plant, or EDP. More about this history later. What makes the WASP a unique and interesting filter is the circuitry and design. According to the Doepfer site, it abuses digital inverters as analog operational amplifiers, leading to distortions and other dirty effects that are the signature sound of the WASP synth and its filters. And if you know me well enough now, I love a dirty filter. The Doepfer A-124 WASP module itself is 8 HP wide, and it has one audio in and two CV in for modulation, and has two outputs, Bandpass and Lowpass, Highpass, notch, mix out. This one's a little complex. The controls on the deck are for audio input level, and of course the frequency, cutoff frequency knob, a CV2 to attenuate the voltage coming into CV2, a resonance knob here, and a mix knob at the bottom. This is what they're calling the low-pass, high-pass mixer pot. This mixer pot defines the relation between low and high-pass signals. If both signals appear at the same level, which would be the middle position of the mix knob, you can obtain a notch filter. So in other words, it goes low pass is on this side. This is all low pass. Crank it to the right. This is all high pass. But if you get right here in the middle, you're creating a notch by combining low and high together. So that's pretty cool. Similar to the A-121-2, the two CV inputs are straight CV in on CV1, meaning that there's no onboard attenuation. The full modulation voltage is received into CV1 and affects the cutoff frequency to the filter, whereas CV2 allows a second modulation source for cutoff frequency that also has this onboard attenuator to control the amount of modulation voltage to apply to the cutoff. For a brief history of the EDP WASP, because I think you really need to know about this, created in 1978 by Electronic Dream Plant in the UK, Chris Huggett developed a most interesting synthesizer quite literally at the dawn of synthesis, with bizarre features such as non-moving, non-mechanical keyboard of touch-sensitive strips that were designed to resemble a keyboard. In 1978, a creative user could simply tap a key to get a sound or even slide their finger up and down the flat, immovable surface and generate portamento or slides as desired. This was also pre-MIDI, 1978, but the WASP had connector ports for linking multiple WASPs together. It goes without saying, so I'll say it anyway. The name WASP, of course, comes from the unique black and yellow appearance of the synth, but that's not the only reason it was named WASP. Let's talk about the filtering. The original WASP was monophonic and had two digital oscillators and analog filters, envelopes, and controls. According to VintageSynth.com, this made WASP one of the first ever compact digital analog hybrid monosynths. While I cannot confirm this as a fact, the interwebs seem to tell a story of the song Kids in America by Kim Wilde. Starts out with sounds from the WASP synth. Check out the link in the description.
Looking out a dirty old window.
Like most teenage boys, I massively crushed on Kim Wilde back in the day. There's something about pouty blondes that just does it for me. In usual fashion, Behringer has created a clone of the original WASP synth for $299. That's amazing. So getting back to the Doepfer filter module, there's one thing from the manual I do want to point out. This module is a copy of the filter used in the EDP WASP synthesizer, which abuses digital inverters, the CD4069, as operational amplifiers. The disadvantage of this circuitry is that inverters die now and then. And the only solution would be to replace the inverters with a standard operational amplifier, but then the special characteristics of the WASP filter would be lost. The manual goes on to say it is impossible to predict when the CD4069 will die, and of course Doepfer tests every one of their A-124s carefully before they leave the factory. Doepfer says there are A-124s which work flawless for over 10 years, and others become defective after a few weeks, months, or years. Fortunately, the CD4069 is a very inexpensive standard part, which should cost about 50 cents in the US. The circuit is plugged into a socket and can be easily replaced by the customer if required. Let's look at that. Hang on a moment. Oh shit, this writing is so small, I'm not going to be able to see this. There it is right there. See it? It's the CD4069. So if your WASP module takes a shit, you can pluck this little guy out and put a 50-cent part in and revive it. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize that. On a more somber note, in late 2020, the founding member of EDP, Chris Huggett, passed away, leaving behind a legacy of amazing synthesizer creations, including the WASP filter, the Oscar synthesizer, and most notably to me anyway, he was the main creator of many Novation synths, including my most beloved Novation Summit.
This is where I do all my work for the last 20 odd years. Ian asked me to make a contribution to this synth. I put in a filter and VCA, the analog synth part of the WASP, into the base station. That is the prototype of the WASP.
So why I chose the A-124 VCF5 WASP? Yeah, mostly because I wanted to try another filter, and the quirkiness of the WASP sounded intriguing. Relatively inexpensive at $105, and Doepfer, which y'all know by now I love the aesthetic and functionality of Doepfer modules, and I owe my eternal gratitude and firstborn to Dieter, after all. The WASP filter sounded like a good bet. Get it? Sounded like? Alright, anyway. For how I plan to use it, simply it's going to be a filter. But like most of my filters in Eurorack, self-patching or cross-patching yields some amazing sonic gifts and surprises, so aside from straight filtering, I hope to coax some beautiful noise out of my WASP, and I hope it doesn't sting me by blowing up in my face. So with that, let me get this guy in the rack and get some power to it, and we'll make some noise. I say that a lot, don't I? We'll just make some noise. All right, the A-124 is nailed in. Let's get some power. I'm also introducing a little bit of the sequencer rack here. This is one of the rows because I want you to see data right here. And data, if you don't know, is an oscilloscope, basically. My sound source today is going to be another Doepfer module. I'm just going to take a saw out of the quad VCO over here and stick it into the audio in jack. I'm going to take Lowpass, Highpass out to data so you can witness the mayhem. Then I'll just come out of data to my effects channel up here. All right, so you should be able to see data down here, the green trace on data as I turn up the volume on the WASP. Actually, you know what? Let me grab a longer cable so I can lay it out of the way. I'm just not going to fight with cables today. How's that? Is that better? All right, I'm going to turn up the volume. Watch the green trace here. All right, so now I'm going to sweep the config. Wow, how come my microphone suddenly sounds weird? Whoa. My microphone suddenly sounds like I'm in a cave. Is it just playing? Oh, wow. It's literally playing tricks on my ears. Wow, that's crazy. All right. Fuck all that. Let's start this again. All right, I'm going to raise the volume here. I have it switched all the way to the low pass side of the low-high mixer. No resonance, full frequency, and here we go. Bringing up the volume. And all we're going to do is some sweeps. Resonanceless sweeps. Now I'm going to switch over to the high pass side. So this is clearly high pass. You can barely hear anything. Now let's sweep down. Okay, nothing surprising there. If I throw some resonance in here, go back to low pass. All right. Since I'm wowing, let's just throw in the LFO right now. Oh, you know, I did forget to mention there's no resonance CV on the Wasp filter. I didn't realize that until just now. I was thinking about modulating resonance, but there's no jack for it. So I'm going to modulate it, adding more resonance. Notably, this filter also does not self-oscillate, so this is the second of my Doepfer filters that does not do that, which is not really a big deal to me. I don't really use filters as oscillators. So this is as screamy as I think this is going to get. Let me slow down that LFO. Do you hear the buzzing? I'm over here grinning ear to ear. I think that's what they're talking about right there, that buzz. Let me sweep back over to the high pass side. Sounds really cool. All right, so now if I add another voltage source into the CV2 and then mix some of it in while this is going on. So this voltage source coming from marbles is literally just random voltages coming out of marbles. Because I just wanted it to throw some extra voltage in to see it mess with the sweep. Let me move up to the Bandpass and listen to what that guy sounds like. All of these are very smooth. I like that. Turning up some of the resonance. Getting a little vowely. How about some more resonance? Nice. Full resonance. I love that growl. Let me do this. I'm going to make a super slow LFO. I'm going to sweep right up on this guy. All right, here's our bottom. That sounds great. All right. So that's kind of the bandpass side. And of course the low pass and high pass don't enter into it because I don't have anything coming out of it jacked wise. So taking a sample and hold. Of course gives you the results you expect. I can't do anything without reverb. So you'll notice you also can't modulate the mix on this. But that's okay. It's $100. It's pretty cheap. Take out that LFO. I'm going to self-patch the bandpass out right back into the CV. So this is full voltage torment here. Now we're going to start making some noise. So this is, a lot of it is coming from raising the resonance and then taking the mix in from CV2 here and toning it back a little bit. This is also all the way over on Highpass down here. Switch over to Lowpass. I swear to God, this sounds illegal. Like I'm not supposed to be doing this, so it sounds like this. Jesus. Let me switch two of these, and I'm going to bandpass self-patch right into the attenuatable CV jack here. So I still got resonance pretty high. That sound right there. That sound of agony. I love that. All right. This has been Season 3, Episode 9 of my modular journey. Walking the path with the A-124 VCF5 WASP filter. Coming up next, hold on a moment. Jeez. Oh look, I turned the volume down and it stopped screaming. Guess the more signal you put in, the louder it gets. Hold on, we're not done messing around yet. So adding more level makes it, of course, tweak out even harder, huh? All right. This has been. You're just going to keep going? This has been Season 3, Episode 9 of my modular journey, featuring the Doepfer A-124 VCF5 WASP filter. Coming up next, the Doepfer A-111-6 miniature synthesizer voice. So stay tuned for that.